Radiant team's turn to ban.
Their first match, actually, of day number 2. And EPG, on the other hand, a team that's been mediocre, but you know what? They could pull an upset here, CC.
Yeah, they're 3-2. They just took down
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, they did. Wow.
A few minutes ago. Yeah, so they're actually in a pretty decent
5
position.
seconds remaining.
They have a chance to make the playoffs currently, so this match means quite a bit for them.
Reserve time.
Likely that Alliance doesn't make the playoffs because I think they beat Bears. Did they beat Secret as well?
They beat Secret, yes.
Yeah, so they've beaten like all the top teams, so it's pretty unlikely they don't make the playoff at this point, but Elements definitely has a shot. It's between like them and kind of NIP and C9 for that like 4th slot currently.
That's interesting, because I mean, I gotta say, going into this, honestly, I did not think much of EPG. But the fact that they're 3-2, and as you said, they're coming off a victory over NIP before this, and we've gotten the chance to actually, I've gotten the chance personally to catch a couple of the games.
10
I
seconds
have
remaining.
been gladly surprised and impressed by their play. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but love these guys here.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of players that have stuck together for
time.
quite some time. I'm not sure how long LeBron has been on this team, but I think the rest of them have been
Radiant team ban.
easily by like the better teams, like Alliance.
Dire team
so we'll have to
ban.
see how it goes.
We gotta talk about these picks though, because Wisp, Tiny, the first 2 picks for Alliance. I feel like we're living in the past here.
Yeah, it's Tiny is definitely a very, very limp hero. It's probably his most well-known hero. Hanskin also a Wisp player.
10
So,
seconds
you know, from
remaining.
time to time they'll just pull it out. It's a little surprising they go for it first 2.
5 seconds remaining.
Doesn't reveal too much. I'm not really sure exactly what the reasoning for it is. I think the more interesting thing is that Elements responds with a first phase Timbersaw. Obviously very, very good versus Wisp Tiny, as they're both strength heroes.
Skywrath Mage.
Dire team's turn to pick.
Ban Ursa, then Skywrath Mage actually comes up pretty quick. This is a different, I mean, you know, so we're talking about the Wisp and Tiny. It doesn't reveal too much, but is this something that you could give them a chance to react to now because of that, or are you not really concerned about that either?
I don't
10
think
seconds
you
remaining.
see a Wisp Tiny and you immediately think of, you know, there's not some like super
5
glaring
seconds
counterpick. I think the
remaining.
Timbersaw is pretty decent. An Alliance Snap picking the Skywrath thing is a direct counter to the
Reserve
Timbersaw.
time.
There aren't many supports that can actually zone the Timbersaw just one-on-one. Even if the Timbersaw is mid, which I think is unlikely, he doesn't do very well against the IO Tiny, so it's probably either safe lane solo or, you know, off.
Radiant team's turn to pick.
And what about something like a, you know, they probably wouldn't go that in here, but what I do think a
10
Wisp
seconds
Tiny, the
remaining.
idea that they could just catch you all of a sudden because they relocate in. It's
5
something like a
seconds
Beastmaster
remaining.
with that Hawk to kind of scout out those locations potentially could be decent, but I mean, with the Timbersaw and Centaur already, it
You're
would
using
probably
up your reserve time.
Yeah, I also don't think it's a Jonathan fan hero typically. I think they ban out the Nyx. He plays like a lot of the Nyx. I think he'll play Bat Rider from time to time. He'll play the Centaur. I don't recall him playing the Beastmaster very much, if at all.
Okay, yeah, so actually you're referring to Alliance, and actually now that I'm thinking about that, could potentially be good for Alliance too. I was more so
Dire
on the
team's
EPG
turn.
side
Oh, okay.
against the IO Tiny, but
Yeah, not with the Centaur and the Timbersaw
Yeah.
already picked. Yeah, they don't really have a way to fit it in.
they go Clockwork on the side of Alliance, so it kind of fits that theme of just catch you. He goes in with a hook shot, IO Tiny
10
relocate
seconds
in,
remaining.
and they finish the job deal.
Yeah, I'm curious as how
5 seconds
Alliance
remaining.
are going to lane this. I think Alliance are pretty all in. Their lanes need to go very well with these heroes
Reserve
because
time.
Clinks.
Radiant team's turn to ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds
They want
remaining.
something. They probably want to hear to pull in the safe lane. Let's see. I
Dire
think Silencer's
team's
not
turn to
the
pick.
worst. I'm really not sure what they're gonna go for here. They have the Earth. I'm also not sure what they're gonna do with this Earth Spirit. If they're gonna play around bottom with the Centaur, and I think that's sort of gonna be decided with Alliance's last pick, because that's almost definitely the Loda hero.
10
And depending if it's a
seconds
carry that can be
remaining.
punished or not, it sort of determines where this Earth Spirit is gonna play, which also in
5
turn
seconds remaining.
determines where their next support is gonna be.
Yeah.
So I think the lands are still a little bit up in the air.
5 seconds remaining.
But I think for sure this Clinks will have a really nice time top, which I think is pretty huge for elements.
Radiant
Alright, so yeah,
team's
they
turn
pick
to
a CM. It's a support. They can do this dual offlane with the Centaur and be very, very strong. All these heroes use the mana quite well, and also if the lanes are more static, it's a lane he can't really pressure down bottom. He has the potential to back up to the jungle and just farm at any point. So I think the CM pick is also is really,
10
really good.
seconds remaining.
The CM Centaur dual lane is quite strong. They have a lot of kill potential, and
5
Alliance
seconds
support's really
remaining.
not the greatest at killing. They're, the Skyrath obviously a great harassing support, and the Wisp can,
Reserve
is
time.
going to be playing around with the Tiny mostly. So I think Lotus here may be able to get punished pretty hard. As EPG banned out the Juggernaut, the Nyx is banned out, Ursa banned out, so a lot of these really, really strong laners aren't in the pool anymore.
Still long and hard about their final pick right here. They got about a minute. A couple things I wanted to go over. One, for real quickly, like Crystal made, and obviously the aura is going to be very beneficial in this game too. You got to hear like most definitely would benefit from the ability. And then on the side of Alliance, I've casted a couple of Alliance games yesterday, and overall it seemed like their theme was that 4-1 strategy idea. Protect Loda, get him the farm. They even ran the Magnus Ogre Magi around him playing Juggernaut, in the game against Secret, I believe it was, and just all about buffing him up. This is a much different theme, right? This is the Limp is going to ideally get a snowball of a start on his Tiny, as you mentioned. And how about that?
Whoa,
Shadow
the
Fiend.
Tiny.
A Loda Tiny, as you said. That is different.
Okay. I didn't expect that. Loda almost... Shadow Fiend pick sort of salvaged their draft a little bit, because I think
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
and the Shadow Fiend I think gives Alliance a shot, but I think EPG is actually is. But I think the Centaur and the Clinks will be in good enough positions to where the Timbersaw will be able to get a lane, catch up, and if the Timbersaw gets a lot of items this game, then it's not an easy kill by any means for Alliance. They're pretty low on, like they don't have a lot of right clickers. They don't have a lot of ways to bring this Timbersaw once he has the Bloodstone, has a hood, a plate mail, then I don't know how really they take it down.
They're all about burst, is what it is. Of course, the combo of Tiny, you got Shadow Fiend with the Requiem, the race cooldown. It's like, that's definitely their theme. So yeah, Timbersaw could prove to be an issue, no doubt. And it's kind of funny figuring that because he was the second pick. It's not like it was the final pick of the draft by any means either.
Yeah, and I don't think the Timbersaw necessarily is like a great pick. This game, I think it's more about the fact that the Clinks will have a really nice time. The Centaur should have a nice time bottom, and they'll be able to make space and like let this Timbersaw catch up, because this time mid is not going to be fun. They're even doing this Shadow Fiend. You kill the cogs in the base, so SF is going to have 12, 15 souls coming to lane. So Timbersaw is going to get wrecked mid, and I think it's pretty important. that they do well in their other lanes, which I think they will. And we talked about Alliance being a whole lot about bursting heroes, catching heroes, and like taking these quick fights where they're jumping in and, you know, starting the fight 4v5. And as this game goes a little bit later, you get the Aghanims on Centaur, and it can, you know, it just totally changes the tide of everything, especially whenever you're playing this sort of all-inny style. You have a Tiny, you have a Clockwork heroes that they go in, they have a hard time getting out. You've got a
30
Centaur
seconds
Aghs
to
that can
battle.
make the game very, very difficult for that style of play.
Yeah, the cogs all of a sudden become useless at that point, so definitely an issue to be concerned about, kind of almost a timing that, you know, Alliance, you figure that ideally they're in a good spot before he gets that Aghs if he ends up getting it in the end. Last that 1 minute. Definitely expecting to be an earlier game presence here from Alliance, and I had to double check real quickly while we were setting up for this game too, with the Dota buff after that draft. In the last 3 to 4
This ain't
months
no
here,
snowball
Loda has
fight.
not played a single game of Tiny. So, I mean, this is a difference. Now, in his overall history, he's played Tiny in the past, like his whole time by all means. But, again, in recently with this roster, especially lately and everything, he has not played Tiny. So I'm not saying he's going to forget how to play the hero by any means, but it's interesting, you know, seeing a player play a hero that he has not played in so long in a pretty significant matches we're talking about. So, they felt necessary to do so.
Yeah.
Change there.
Yeah, Timbersaw actually getting the range group deny was pretty nice there, but this lane is gonna be it's gonna be so difficult. Come level 2, level 3, Shadow Fiend starts getting raises online, and he just hits for so much more damage than Timbersaw. It's gonna get very hard very quickly. So I think, you know, the Shadow Fiend is gonna have a nice game here, which he needs to. This is a game where, as we talked about, Alliance wants to be ahead, and the SF is really their only tower hitter. So I think him having this good matchup mid is very important for Alliance. Mid may actually go down bottom.
Now he's going to barely live. He actually landed the hoof stop onto Skyrath, and that allows him to get the distance to run away, but man, was he close to the turn right there. He's going to limp on over to the shrine though, and
Hey!
that'll heal him on up. It's been kind of interesting, because Merlini's had the similar reactions too with the shrines, where it's almost like a sarcastic, like, hey, this game's easy.
I was laughing about the, he's going to limp on over.
Oh, that. See, I didn't even realize he made that connection. If Limp was actually the one limping on over, that would be perfect. I'll save that for later. What do you think about Shrines? Do you think they're overall better for the game here?
Yeah, I think it makes snowballing in these games that are just over instantly from a good start. I think it sort of nerfs that a little bit. I think it makes the early game a little bit faster paced, which I think is a good thing. You aren't these heroes just always walking back to base, since they nerfed the suiciding, which for a while was sort of the means of making the game a little bit faster. Jonathan fan is taking a beating up top.
Yeah, he's doing his best to avoid death right here, obviously. He pops the cogs and gonna kind of use that protection.
What?
Krulton 3 avoids getting hit by it. And Clockwork gonna go around the trees. I mean, he's going to survive, actually. I was gonna say he still might not take it out, but yes, he will. Sidesteps, man.
Yeah, they've got a huge way of pushing onto the tower. Clinks gets his clarity canceled as well. It's actually pretty bad for him. He does have the CM aura, so he's not going to run completely out of mana. But yeah, it's definitely a better start for the Clockwork than I think I had expected. Already up to level 3, the Clinks sitting at level 2. The support's doing all right for themselves, but I think with the CM actually choosing not to go down to bottom because the Skyrath was going to commit there, and they can't really deal with the Skyrath constantly harassing, with the Tiny having a lot of burst as well. So Alliance definitely doing it, well enough in their lanes because they needed to have a good start as Goki, actually.
Blood coming out with that battery assault. The Cog's going to push back Earth Grid initially. Spread some of that battery assault though, and Goki will end up dying though. The rocket to finish him off. First blood going out in favor of Jonathan Fan. Now he may end up dying. He's doing some side steps though. The Cog's coming out again.
No mana on Earth
He's
Spirit.
not going to escape again, is he? Come on.
Well, I'll have mana for roll in a second, but I think he's out of range.
Actually is going to live again. Jonathan Fan. He's juking and jiving, staying alive.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. And now the SF is up to level 4 as well. The Timbersaw completely out of regen. Still is the Shrine, but not quite up to his bottle yet. Once the SF gets to level 5, you can see him just one right click chunks him down so much. It's gonna... This Timbersaw really doesn't have anywhere to go either. There's not really a lane he can rotate to. His Centaur's having a rough time. It's got some XP now. Some of the Alliance supports rotate around a little bit. The Timbersaw is not really a hero that rotates very well. He likes to sit in his lane, he likes to farm up to the Bloodstone, and then maybe his hero, the rest of his heroes can rotate to his lane, but that's not something that's likely to happen until he's maybe level 6. again, you know, the Earth Strict roll and potentially get a kill in Shadow Feed. But until that point, he's just sort of stuck here and is going to get out farmed almost definitely.
Saw at the bottom jungle area of the Radiant jungle right there, and he was trying to run away that whole time, and he got actually ended up caught by EGM on that wisp. He hit those spirits and enough damage to help secure the kill as Skywrath finished his job with a custom shot right there. So well played as far as the chase goes, and getting that kill now 2-0 started. And meanwhile, yeah, Limp is just having, not Limp, expected to be Limp, but Loda is having free farm here at the bottom lane. Got the full-on power treads, good to go. Is this get the Blink Dagger now next to ASAP, especially with the Whisper? Go for you.
Yeah, I think it could be the Blink Dagger. It could also be the Shadow Blade. We've seen some players go for the Shadow Blade first item. But I think Alliance, whenever Limp plays it, will typically go into the Blink and then to like Echo Saber, or the Blink then into the Shadow Blade. But I think they almost always will go for the Blink first. And I think typically whenever you see these teams, then there's heroes that they'll switch between players. A lot of times they will go for the same item build as like a usual player. Because, you know, obviously they think similarly about the hero. I think the hero should do similar things. So I think he'll probably end up going for the Blink first. And I don't think any other items are glaringly good on Tiny anymore. You see Drums, the Drums kind of changed quite a bit. Not really an item we see a lot anymore, as it kind of just got replaced by HOD, which is, you know, once again, not an item Tiny really likes to buy. So I think going for the Blink first is something really he'd rather buy, as, you know, the Wisp has a bottle, like you said, so it doesn't really need any mana regen items either.
Saw there in the middle lane, thank God he had a haste runner. Cole most likely would be dead right now, but manages to get away, as despite getting hit by both those ranges, and Skywrath Mage coming in for the escape though. Use of that haste rune. Wrap around from Skywrath Mage bottom lane. Centaur pushing up a little bit too far. No, he's just going to get a vision down. Never mind. Or down, and yeah, Centaur obviously did a kill. Doesn't have Stampede just yet. He's almost level 6. Maybe try right here. Out comes the stun setup. Load up. Tension seals up, and the concussive shot slowly but surely coming in. To secure the kill.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend last pick was absolutely huge. If they put Tiny mid, if they, I don't think they would have pressured this Timbersaw on. He would have been able to get to his level 4 or 5, get the multiple points and reactive arm, sort of sitting in, force the Tiny Wisp here. They don't get anything done. So I think the Shadow Fiend last picks, like, I would have done so much with the line, so let this guy have plenty of stuff coming off as well. But Swift ending with TP's bot and brings down Loda.
Yeah, I mean, they got the tower kill right before that, and he did buy out, I believe, so is that the worst kill? I mean, I guess he didn't buy out fully, so he did lose a little bit of gold right there, but still, is that the worst case, worst thing ever, the fact that he died right there? I don't necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I think Swift ending did kind of want to rotate to bottom, though, because the top lane was going so poorly. Normally as a Clinks, you'd want to just sort of sit up top, pressure this Clockwork, and shut him down, and then eventually take that top tower, then you'd start rotating around. But now that he's ported down to bottom lane, and will probably be playing down here for quite some time, but it's very hard for them to just sort of walk up and take this tower because the Alliance have so much kill potential, so they can always wrap behind if EPG starts, you know, walking up trying to hit the tower. Swift ending doesn't really have too many things he can do right now.
Jonas and Fan makes a big play with another solo kill in the top lane, bottom lane. They're going to be killing the Wisp. Make it out of there in time, and Loda to keep his distance right here. Does have that magic wand, going to use the charges. Stun cooldown will be coming up in 4 seconds here for the Avalanche. But opportunity he had. Swift ending down here on that Clinks and a little bit more far before he heads elsewhere. You hear sit down here as his teammates will use that shrine. But yeah, big kill by Jonas Fan once again at the top lane in the solo presence, and he has a 3,000 net worth right now. Not only staying alive, but getting kills, and safe to say he's having a very successful game at a 2-0-1 record so far. And Hookshot is going to be coming off cooldown in 20 seconds now.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be going for the Midas again this game. We've seen Jonas Fan play mostly Clockwork and Nyx, and I think on both of those heroes, he tends to go for a Midas. Either first item or second item. On these more space-making heroes, they have issues farming. Seems to like the Midas to give him a little bit more late game presence as the game goes on and on. As Limp and Loda tend to be pretty
Fight right here, the Rage is falling, but definitely starting a fight as the hookshot lands on the Centaur. Stampede on cooldown still. And look at that, the poor man's Blink Dagger, as I like to call it, tossing him in, and Goki is going to end up dying as a result. 6-2 lead now for Alliance. Getting him down in the background. We're not done just yet though. Swift ending, he gets one pick, he wants another. Those Zero, plenty of damage, not enough to take him out though. Limpex become a double kill elsewhere. as he does take out Timbersaw. Another use of the four-man Blink Dagger. Trying to get away. Is Swift ending. Not going to be enough. They'll Skeleton Walk can't save him. He gets brought down. Another toss in, and down goes Earth Spirit. These tosses are just doing work here from the 90.
Yeah, and I think this is where EPG has to start to worry. They're only level 4 in the Earth Spirit because this top lane went so poorly, or did not go according to plan. The Centaur isn't even close to Blink or Hood. I'll probably have to go Blink first in this game to give them any chance of fighting, but now that Alliance has done so well in their lanes, they're going to probably start 5-manning down these towers. They've gotten up their other lanes out. Farms a couple of jungle camps, already has the Dragonlance completed. And I think they're going to look to take this mid tower. I don't know if EPG really has a response. They can try and stall it up a little bit. But with the Timbersaw being as poor as he is, only level 4 on the Earth Spirit, so not having access to the Magnetize, I don't know if EPG really has a response.
Swift ending on Blinks. He's trying to get that Desolator.
Oh my god.
How did he know? He just randomly dumped right there. Feels like obviously something gave it away. Some sort of information, and they end up being right. They hit the hook shot right away, and down goes the Blinks. Just I'm trying to suggest at least he has something coming there.
I think he read the CM's movement. I think he was looking at the Crystal Maid. He was walking back on the fourth lane of the hill, and the CM was walking back and forth as well.
Okay.
And I just figured the Clinks had vision of him. Got a little bit lucky that the Clinks wasn't a little farther away, and barely caught him in the range of those. So really nice read from Sage to have vision.
Locked up as their Spirit trapped in the midst of it, TPing in. Not the decision you want to be making there. His teammates just have to run away because they couldn't really get in a spot to obviously save him, let alone trying to fight. And they can't be taking fights right now. That is very evident. Alliance is definitely the scarier team at this point because of the lead that they have, if anything. Yeah, I mean, you were talking about earlier, what can they do to really calm things down and come back in this game? And Clinks getting that Desolator, of course, is going to help, but even when he does, they just have so much catch. He's still going to be very vulnerable to be turned on right away.
Yeah, he needed to have a better start. The top lane went so poorly. That whole exchange where they missed the roll, the Clockwork lived. In the meanwhile, he was getting all that XP from the creeps dying, and then he was able to get the solo kill as well. It opened up so much space for him. And after that, he was like level 4. The Clinks really isn't able to zone him anymore. This is a threat that he can walk up, cogs him in, and potentially solo kill this Clinks really early on. So the Clinks didn't get as much as he wanted. They weren't able to get this top tower, which you really want to do with these heroes like Clinks, Juggernaut, that have these innate pushing mechanisms. Searing Arrows, the healing ward. You aren't able to take that top tower. This Clockwork holds it. It gives him so many ways he can move around the map. And, you know, the Timbersaw we knew was going to lose mid. The Skyrath committed himself to bottom to pressure the Centaur, make sure he doesn't get a quick blink. And Alliance just winning all 3 lanes like that. That's exactly what they needed. In EPG's lineup, they have a lot of fighting heroes, a lot of heroes that are pretty good at defending towers by jumping on Alliance before they can jump them. But whenever you're behind like this, they just die so quickly. The Shadow Fiend up to 1400 HP with the Treads and the Dragonlance. It's very, very hard to bring any of Alliance down.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they necessarily need a lot of items to be doing decent damage on the side of EPG, as you're kind of getting at there, but even with the levels, I mean, you look at the experience lead, it's about a 4,000 experience lead right now in favor of Alliance, nearly a 6,000 net worth. So having those items definitely help, and yeah, even that's much slightly more ahead of the overall level 2. And this Shadow Fiend, he's level 12. He's got that Dragonlance pushing it now, trying to finish a Manta style. The Yasha has even been completed. You look at Tiny, and of course he has that Blink Dagger, and then the Whisper. Can just farm a little bit out, and he has the Wisp nearby. Worst case, if they do jump in, but not going to be happening. Instead, EPG, they're roaming through the Radiant jungle, but their tier 2 is going to be pushed top in the meantime. So obviously they're hunting for some kind of kill. Not going to get it though. And will they protect it? I just don't think that they want to be fighting right now. It's pretty evident. So.
Yeah, they don't have the option to fight. They would really like to. They'd like to defend these towers, but the SF is just too farmed to this point. Already having Dragonlance, Yasha. He's very, very tanky. Getting close to the level 15, so we got that HP Talon as well. So we're going to buff up even more. The Clink's not having a Dragonlance, not having a Deso. They're really just so short on items. The Timbersaw, if he tries to walk up to defend his towers, like you normally see Timbersaws do, they walk up right in front of the tower and they just sort of stand there. He can't do that. They all just die so quickly in EPG. And still not having the Blink Dagger on Centaur either. They really don't have a way to start the fight except for Urgent Reveal. It's very consistent.
Notice the band is keeping the hook shots coming. And Mystic Flare really finished the job. I don't think it's necessary, but help get that kill quickly. Limp actually even credit for the kill, landing a raise there. Yes, to secure the job. So nice find on a Crystal Maiden. Again, obviously Clockwork. Jonas Fan has pretty much been the MVP so far for his team, but definitely overall a great team effort. You got the bottle of the year on Wisp. You know, and actually something I've seen some Wisp players do. I think it was Z-Freak actually. Oh no, he was sidestep initially, couldn't get the save though. From Wisp, not enough of a heal. Swift ending tears through him. Does he have the Desolator? Not even yet. So that was just simply the Searing Arrows in the straight damage. But that's a big pick. Obviously, that's a start for calming things down in range.
Yeah, that was a really nice read from Swift Ending, knowing that, you know, the bottom lane had just pushed in. They were gonna run through the jungle. They had this nice deep ward here, so they saw them running over. He knew it was just gonna be a matter of time before they got there. So using that 3-4 seconds before the rest of Alliance got there, he gets that key pickoff. And if they didn't do that, then they definitely would have just marched down to the mid tier 2 or even Roshan, which they are doing now. So sort of just delaying the inevitable. But also that pickoff will have his Desolator before too long. I don't know if they can contest with Roshan. It's just basically free for Alliance. Even though they give up that kill, and I expect the Swift Ending there, still in a very, very dominant position on Alliance.
So I was getting there with the Wisp. It's kind of a fun out of it. More of a luxury, sure, but it's like an Arblet even on
They
Wisp.
did pick up the Aegis. Aegis is in Roche. What's happening?
Not much good's happening to
Dude, Clinks, go get it, dude.
Guys, I mean, obviously you're aware, like, Alliance?
They forgot. Oh, is he realizing?
realized.
They realized.
Look at that blink back. Like,
Go get him!
Ah, crap, hope he didn't. Yeah, no. They're gonna get it. Okay.
Not much
That's
good's happening to
Alliance
Radiant's
later.
bottom tower.
that's one we can have fun with. They are doing so well. But yeah, an Arblet on Wisp sounds kind of interesting, and I've kind of seen that a couple times before. Is that something potentially could be good here, you think? Or?
I think it's alright. I think the one game I saw him do that, they had a whole lot of physical damage in the other team. And it was a game where the mech wasn't really going to be that great, but I think most games just getting a casual buckler or building into the mech ends up being better. And I think mech would probably be better this game, because EPG is kind of relying on bursting heroes like the Centaur, jump on one specific hero, Earth Spirit using all of his damage, Timber all of his damage, and killing a hero. But, you know, the Clinks as well, because I don't think they really have any other options. So I think the Wisp was more concerned about the rest of his team being alive rather than himself, because he shouldn't be in a position to get jumped anyway.
We're gonna get jumped. Earth Spirit way out of here. That's not gonna work though. Hook shot. Seen this several times before. There comes the top. Galoda's playing some, shooting some hoops this game. Basketball. Their teammates around left and right and set up kills with it. So this Earth Spirit has been caught several times. Supporting cast in general. And Jonas Fan, how many assists does he have? He's 3-0-8. So he's been involved in 11 of the 13 kills this game.
Yeah, they're just gonna march down to bottom. Alliance knows that EPG really just cannot fight them, especially with this Aegis. Maybe if they didn't have that, they could try and blow up this SF before he gets relocated out of the block for counter initiatives. But until that Aegis wears off, they just have free access to taking down the rest of these tier 2s, and EPG really don't have a response. They're gonna look for any stragglers they can find around the map. They have some nice deep wards. Their warding is really good. This triangle here, wards down here looking for any heroes straggling off, but so far I haven't been able to
Relocated, thinking of finding something. They find Timbersaw. He's trying to Timber trade away just in time, but he still gets caught. You have the distance there. Skeleton Block though popped up with Clinks. Putting in some right clicks into Tiny with that Desolator now, but obviously with the supporting cast nearby, he wasn't going to stick around for too long. Ends up running away. I mean, Centaur still has that Stampede, but I don't think that would have really saved the Timbersaw though. At that point, he gets caught, and Clockwork, if anything, you got to figure probably would have caught him if they tried to attempt to flee right there aggressively. So nice pick off yet again. And actually, speaking of Clockwork, what does he have? I mean, he went the Hannah Midas as you're talking about. Now he's going to be picking up that Blade Mail line, but we're going to ramp up that farm initially. The extra mana here with the talent tree, but Shadow Fiend, Manta Style to go right into the butterfly.
Yeah, they're just looking to end the game as soon as possible. Timbersaw and Clinks are not cores that play very well from behind. They're all about having a nice landing stage and snowballing off of that good landing stage. And Timber, you know, only has the Hood, the Arcane Boots, Soul Ring. Is just not at that super tanky stage where Alliance starts having issues killing him. He's just a piece of paper. You can't play up in these fights. And if you're not able to do that, then Alliance just does this. They walk up to your high ground, and what response do they have? They can try and kick, slow it down with whatever span they have, but they don't really have any way to jump the system to kill him with the Aegis.
Yeah, especially with the Aegis exactly. If anything, they got the initial strafe and Blink's getting in, it was a big auto attack. Maybe he just happened to be standing there with no support, but that's just not the case. Lions are ready to go. They're being patient as expected. The fortification going to be forced out there. Going to reset and probably go finish off the tier 3. We've seen this a lot of the matches. They basically get the tier 3 out. Bottom lane, what's going on down here? They're killing a Clockwork first. They get the turn kill though on the Clinks. And over here, timing is still picked off. So, okay, a couple of different fights taking place. I realized that middle fight, or the bottom lane was even going on. Down there in the first play. But now Skyrath mage.
Yeah, he doesn't have a TP. He's most probably going to go down. They see that he doesn't have a TP. He has the kick up on her spirit, so unless he wastes that, there's almost no way he lives. Yeah, should get stomped after he squares off. He's definitely going down. But yeah, I think it was a little miscommunication. Jonas and Fan wanted to TP bottom and kill the Clink, so he's still pushing that bottom tower. He didn't actually have a dust on him, so hooked in, and then the Clinks just sort of sat there and right-clicked him. Hadn't picked his blade mail yet either, so Clinks gets a nice kill there as well as getting the tower, so getting a little bit closer to his BKB. And in the meanwhile, EPG taking advantage of that and jumping the rest of the Alliance heroes. I think brought down Loda as well as the Skyrath mage. So yeah, pretty nice turn for EPG and a little bit of miscommunication. Alliance sort of trying a whole lot of things at once. The relocate came in very, very late because EPG saw that the Clockwork TP bottom, so they immediately stormed at them. They weren't able to relocate bottom whenever they wanted to. A combination of maybe Alliance misplaying slightly and EPG also taking advantage of these really small opportunities, like we saw around the mid-tier 1 whenever Swift standing up for that quick kill.
And despite that miscue, I mean, Alliance still isn't a very good spot. And kind of going back to the point, they've been really good at killing that tier 3 tower, then resetting and then getting the shrines ASAP. But obviously that's kind of stalled right there as the tier 3 stays alive due to that distraction at the bottom lane. But gonna reset now as they do make their way back to the top lane. And even without the Aegis, probably feel pretty comfortable. In fact, Limp is trying to finish off the farm for the butterfly here. Again, so get up. Or just up here, they're going to pick on a Wisp, but what comes out further than Clink. He's got that Mystic Flare, did a lot of damage on him with the ancient seal up. He's going to be locked down. He's there as well, so no way for him to get out with those cogs in place. He got Center finally activated the Stampede a little bit later on. We'll have the retreat option successful for his teammates.
Oh boy, Crystal Mid. Wrong neighborhood.
That is just poking the bear right there.
Alright, he actually lives.
Somehow does live.
Yeah, they get a couple of kills. I think they're gonna try and pressure the high ground though. With the Clinks dead, they really just don't have the damage to bring anyone down. Limp's Aegis is down, so Centaur may try and stomp, slow things down a little bit. Has the hood as well, so won't die too quickly to the Chinese burst. You can see Limp is a little cautious. But Hanskin does relocate in with the Scarab, so the whole full 5 here for about 10 seconds.
And there we go. There's the tier 3. IO something to do. He's out. Talk about poking the bear. That bear woke up, slashed his face off.
Yeah, a little, overextends a little bit. I think maybe misclicked onto the high ground. Tried to Glimmer Cape away, but does go down. Not the biggest of deals, just a Wisp. Already has his Glimmer Cape, so they didn't really lose any gold there, but they still get the Shrine. Actually, no, they don't. They bring it out to about half HP, and they back off, scared that EPG was potentially running at them, which they did actually smoke up, so I think it was a high probability. But I think they're just going to try and finish off the BKB on Swift Ending, look for whatever kills they can while Alliance is split up before they group back up and wait for the next Aegis, because I think once, you know, Limp gets the BKB, has next Aegis, I don't really know if there's a way EPG can stop them going on the high ground, so they need to play around, you know, that not happening, try and split Alliance across the map, find random skirmishy fights, these scrappy fights, you know, look to jump in, kill multiple heroes, get out, go back in. If they can do that, then I think EPG has a chance, but they need the BKB on Swift Ending, or they need these fights to go very, very well, at least the start of them, for EPG to take a fight and punish that window where Alliance doesn't have a BKB, they don't have that Aegis.
Speaking of that BKB on Clanks, he really just about has to. He should have it before another fight breaks out here. Only needs the pattern, but they are going to lose that top shrine in the meanwhile, and so Alliance makes their way up there and takes it out. Another going towards the bottom, using the smoke actually. Run through this Observer Ward, so not going to be scouted out, and this could be something here, EPG. Will they get caught before Swift Ending? First Spear going to be the one that's jumped, but he barrels away. They kill the neutral Grave, but the hookshot will land on our Spear. He goes to the push out. Missing Claire helping to finish the job, though. But you know what? That being the only victim, EPM, they got to be pretty overall happy with that.
Yeah, I don't think they're too settled. I really think EPG wanted to find a good fight there. They all sort of just walked up as 5 though on Alliance, and unless EPG is jumping the Wisp, they're jumping the Scarab, these super squishy supports, then it's kind of hard for them to take the fight. The Shadow Fiend just stands up in front. Tiny is pretty tanky. Now he can be kited around, brought down for sure, as he doesn't have any armor items yet. It's only 8-9 armor on him. It's very, very susceptible to Link's Deso, the Timbersaw burst damage. But as long as the Shadow Fiend is in front, then EPG really doesn't have a way to bring Alliance down. I think they still need to find that pick-off. They need to find that scrappy fight. If they don't, then it's just a matter of time before Alliance gets a BKB, they get the Aegis, and then it becomes very, very hard for this under-farmed EPG cores.
1,000 net worth lead right now for Alliance. Clockwork again, that blade mill at 2150 gold saved up, so that Hannah Midas is definitely paying off quite a bit. Tiny with the Ags, of course, really hasn't been able to make the most use of it though yet. Then got him there, bottom lane, Centaur. Jumps on the top, behind the dogs, grab him, Mystic clears down, the stairs are relocated. So definitely guarantee that kill. So Wisp is probably just going to relocate back himself maybe, but get the kill on a Centaur, and Wisp will be fine in that jungle.
Yeah, you can see immediately after that EPG storm down to this bottom lane. They're looking for any potential pickups they can get, but EGM sniffs it out, backs up, not going to give any kills away to EPG. Really what they want. That's their way back into this game, is finding these pickoffs, and they're not going to give it to them. Alliance is actually going to force EPG back to the high ground. I don't think they're going to commit. They may just chip a little bit away at it. They have the BKB and SO, so they can potentially full commit if EPG isn't set up. They're getting here though, but a little bit late. Maybe it's the range tracks.
That lane's going to be the range tracks. Definitely for sure. It's Aegis. Of course, not up on the Shadow Fiend currently, so they don't want to get too crazy like. Speaking of that though, Roshan to be up here very near future, and Alliance aware of that, of course, that they are going to make their way back in the range tracks, about 20 right now. Reset, probably go for another Roshan open this time, pick up use of it right away, or have that presence at least. So Roshan is up.
Yeah, there was a really like 50% life steal over the damage per soul. What? Is that a mystery?
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of hype about that for good reason. Damage. That is there any logic?
I mean, maybe he doesn't want to get Satanic, but Satanic is so good in this game. It's just a good item now in general, and you really want to buy it on SM. Maybe he misclicked, I don't know. But I've never seen someone take the life steal before. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's only 9K.
Yeah, he's 9K, so he either misclicked or he knows something we don't.
He's on that road, he's trying to finish it off, but they do not want to let this go easy. The Stampede activated, Wisp and picks up in the back row on the way. Tiny's locked out as well, as the Magnetize pretty good damage, but Limp is able to sit there right-clicking and Swift ending. He is feeling the pain as a result. He will survive fairly in the ProDota, not so much. He's still going to be near full duration before he gets executed by the Shadow Fiend, and they did pick off Clinks in the background. Looks like EGM actually finishes them off with the Spears of finishing, and then Limp will finish off and get the Aegis on top of that. So sloppier fight, kind of, but a 3-for-3. I guess the buyback on a Wisp was used to actually get that kill. So really the numbers for EPG, but Limp is the one that wins.
Yeah, they just don't have answers for this Shadow Fiend. That was exactly the kind of fight that EPG wanted, though. It was extremely chaotic. There was stuff going around all over the place. The Magnetize put in a lot of work. The Clink's blowing up one target at a time. That was like the optimal fight for EPG. Limp is just so farmed. Has the Hurricane Pike now as well. So much HP, the evasion, putting in massive work. The Clink's gonna be so long before he has an MKB. Whenever you're behind like this on a Clinks, you like to buy tiny items, get like a small crit and Dragon Lance here and there. Just try and like buff up your damage wherever you can, so you can actually kill these squishier heroes. But not able to do that, is forced to go for the MKB, so it's going to be some time before he has that. Until then, Shadow Fiend is so strong, and they're definitely going to march towards the high ground. They want to end with this Aegis. They know that if the game goes longer and longer and longer, the Wisp and Scarab are going to start to have considerably less impact. The Clockwork as well is not an offlaner that scales incredibly well into the late game compared to someone like a Centaur who has the Ags now. So EPG has a shot to defend this high ground, but Alliance is definitely very confident pushing up the hill.
Yeah, that Axe is definitely going to be a game changer. The 60% damage reduction and running over everything as well, including those cogs that we talked about. So definitely could be pretty huge right here. Or initiate some of stuff because the Aegis though going to fade out of BKB or some sort of reaction. Not going to really be happening though. So the Rax Right clicks now front left on the shock grip. It's been dealing plenty of damage in return. The fortification of pops. In the background, Clinks is going with a quick pick on the Skyrath. Skyrath pulling and falling, but at what cost for Swift ending? He pops his own BKB. He's on the run. Rockwave about Stalls goes off in the background, but they're not even caring about
Oh my
Lenny.
goodness.
They want the supporting cast. They're going to get the supporting cast. Tiny's also going to fall right here, looks like. As Clinks will finish him off, and now it's a Shadow Fiend versus
Lip
Red.
stranded.
He is stranded, but I mean, he does have plenty of damage. He has an Aegis, but yeah, Timbersaw doesn't really care.
He's gonna get kited. He may go down again. This is so good from EPG. They played that fight so well.
Chakram on top, force staff forward. They find him though, he's starting to go to attack. He splits up with the Mansion Dog for the quick third kill, but no, it's not going to happen. The explosion doesn't take anyone with him.
5 for 1.
5 for 1, and as you said, very well fought by EP. The chaotic fights are clearly benefiting them.
Yeah, they did exactly what they needed to do. Split Ending goes behind, he blows up these Christian supports, and they continue to just create chaos. Alliance's heroes, they want the Shadow Fiend in front, they want the supports behind, and they want to just let him hit away and have nothing really bother him. The Centaur jumps in, stomps him. Earth Spirit, can go in and throw some stuns, but they can't actually focus this SF, so instead, they make a very, very smart play, go behind, and the Clinks kills the 2 supports immediately, both within the strafe duration. They aren't able to kite or get away. They pop the dust. I think the Earth Spirit had it whenever he rolled in, he dusted both of them up. And whenever both the supports die like that, they kill Loda as well, who just has the plate mail right now, no BKB, so the Earth Spirit silenced him up, then stunned him immediately after, perfectly changed his spells, and they did exactly what they needed to. They leave Blimp for last, the big beefy hero, but whenever he's stranded like that, the rest of his team is dead, doesn't have heroes to back him up, he can just get kited like we saw. He dies twice to lose the Aegis and the high ground push. That was the timing Alliance was looking for.
If you're Loda right here, and they're going to have tower in the middle lane, Timbersaw is going deep. Okay, they'll bring it through up top now. He's good though. He is tanked up one. We had the cockpit on the Stampede actually activated. And it's Clockwork. They'll run away with them, so nobody died from after that. Stampede being on cooldown. If you're Alliance, you wouldn't mind taking a fight at this point, but not going to get any chance. CPG falls back at the team, so they didn't get the tier 1 tower. But that's what's going back to with Loda here on Tiny. These last couple of fights, he really hasn't even been able to use Aegis. I mean, he's had this log now for a while in his hand, and he's not able to hit any heroes with it because he just keeps either getting kited or locked down with the Roshan at that top lane. Would BKB help? I mean, is that going to be a tool that you think about getting?
Yeah, he'll have to get one eventually. Probably go for the BKB after the AC, but it's sort of how the Tiny works as a hero. If you're not snowballing, if you're not jumping in, blowing up heroes yourself, then he just doesn't really... Just barely out of range of the hook. Has Ags on, some fun as well, so he's definitely very farmed. But yeah, on the Tiny, it's not a hero that really does well against the Clinks. He's obviously a ranged hero, so he doesn't care about the Craggy. They have the Centaur ult to counteract, some of that jump, so they really are dependent on Limp getting super farmed, standing on the front lines, and hitting these buildings, but they kind of missed that window. They lost the Aegis. EPG played that high ground fight beautifully, and now they have the Shivas up on Cole. He's not this super squishy hero who can stand up in the front like we talked about. And they're really hitting their timings. They're coming into their own, finding a few key pickoffs here and there, utilizing some very nice timings, and especially that Roche fight. Getting the 3 for 3 was sort of a sign to come that EPG have potential to win these fights. They execute the top fight really well, and now they're back in a position where they have a very good shot at winning this game. The Shadow Fiend is not the greatest late game hero ever, and Clinks is getting close to that MKB as well.
Yeah, when it comes to scaling, exactly, it feels like, I'm glad you kind of reiterate that, because I was going to suggest that earlier too, that Shadow Fiend, he's great for the mid-game presence as he is here, but he will start to taper off a little bit, it feels like, and he got Loda on Tiny. I think hero, with an axe and everything can be pretty threatening in AC, but we've seen his presence so far in this game. It's frankly been pretty minimal as far as being able to be quite the damage dealer that they perhaps are missing out. You almost look back at that talent choice by Shadow Fiend that you talked about. I mean, we're in the pause now, but that level 20 talent, we've seen pretty much every Shadow Fiend go that +2 damage results. It's what, do the math, it's like +72 damage, I think I heard it was, so he's missing out on 72 damage for the sake of having that 15% lifesteal instead, but it's that in hindsight now especially, I mean, you think of what happened that fight at the top lane, he was kind of sitting there auto-attacking, but not enough to finish anyone off at.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's so much. I mean, I think the damage would have been better here. In hindsight, obviously hindsight is 2020. But I think more the issue is, it's just Alliance lineup. I think they played the early game extremely well. They got the kind of lanes they needed. But whenever you're playing a lineup with Skyrath and Wisp supports, you're always at risk of getting to this point where you aren't able to protect them anymore. The Shadow Fiend isn't dealing out the amount of damage he needs to just start 2-3-shotting everyone so they can't actually run past him towards the supports. They had the really nice wrap. The supports go down, and it's gonna start to get worse and worse. As Scarif, he's nowhere near a Ghost Scepter, is going for drums. So until he gets to a Ghost Scepter eventually, he's just gonna continue to die like that. The Wisp is going for Vlad's, so going for more of a team item. The armor will help everybody a little bit, but he's still gonna die in 3-4 shots, especially with the MKB coming up now.
Skyrath made you mentioned going the drums right here. Hanskin actually, he is known for going drums quite a bit. I feel like as far as any player that I've watched, he probably goes drums more than anyone, which is saying a lot because really no one actually goes drums outside of him from what I've witnessed at least. And I've always kind of valued the item, but if you're gonna get drums too, though, I feel like in the earlier game that's where it's gonna have its impact. But not that it won't have impact later on here, but yeah.
Don't question mark lol.
What are we waiting for? I assume we're going to resume here, and it is a 1 minute. Has been more than a minute, to be fair.
Toilet. Uh-oh. Question mark? Whoa, Alliance, they want to get this game underway. Maybe they're feeling the pressure a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you think? Yeah, no, this is one of these games. I know EPG, they're also, again, they're in a decent spot. You mentioned they defeated NIP earlier today, and they're 3-2 now coming into this. But on the other side, Alliance, they got a lot of praise for the first day. They played all their tough matches, you could argue, in that first day. They went 4-1, so setting up to be in prime spot here. But here they are now, day 2, and it's they're starting with a struggle, this being their first match of the day. So probably a little bit of frustration definitely coming in. It's still anyone's game at this point, no doubt. I mean, you do see the net worth chart, though. It's definitely dipped down in favor of EPG. But the MKB now has been delivered to Clinks. So you thought he was doing plenty of damage before, and now he's doing more. And, of course, the evasion no longer an issue.
Yeah, and I also really like what they're doing. LeBron picked up the HOD actually first item, and he's just taking control of creeps and just M-clicking them onto the Clink, so he can always dark pack them and get the maximum HP and damage boost possible. It's actually a pretty cool interaction. You can also have it at the very beginning of fights, so it doesn't have to run over and get a creep all the time. Makes their movements a lot more streamlined. And just in general, it's just kind of a cool interaction. Keeps it up there now. 2,600 HP is so hard to kill with the PCB.
That's a really good point. It's fun things like that. Again, it's such a not the most popular hero. It's kind of just a fun combination, and I'm glad you pointed that out. It seems like a very powerful tactic. Actually, he's actually hiding, getting caught.
He has Ags.
Liver Cave, he does have the Ags. Double Chakram as a result. Now he's going to be relocated, not far, but close enough to the shrine. And he wants to go back in. However, now the home stop light at first. And Loda has yet to do a damn thing, frankly, in this fight. He's just being kited every which way. Now they're going to turn their attention down here. Speaking of the chaos, they want to keep that chaos going. Clockwork's going to end up going down. And back over here, however, you got Shadow holding his ground. Yeah, their kiting is real, though. They're trying to kite around the tribe, but obviously that's down now. Now Loda, again, going to get caught out. The Clever Cave not going to be enough this time around. And Loda, he is going to get fall in the end. So, West is like, I can't save you anymore. Relocates on cooldown. That's 2 kickoffs. Clockwork doesn't even have a buyback, actually.
Yeah, they may end up losing the tier 2 here. They could potentially walk up to the top lane and get the tier 1 as well afterwards. EPG is playing these fights really well, and you can see this Tiny just start to fall off. Got the Aghanims at pretty decent clip. He's getting kills left, right, and center. They're taking all the map control, but it hasn't really progressed any past that at all. The Centaur almost above him in net worth, the Clink several thousand above, as well as the Timbersaw, and the Shadow Fiend. It's not a hero that can play 1v5. He's going to get kited if his supporting cast isn't able to really do that much, and that ends up what's happening. The EPG cores just storming at them, and they don't have the damage to bring them down.
You can definitely appreciate, good Dota play in EGP right now, that is. He's definitely playing good Dota. EGM,
Do you think he's playing good Dota?
He's playing fine. I wasn't meant to be a slide on him.
Alright. I see.
He's not making these star plays necessarily. We've seen from him in the past, but you see what I did there. I praised him, but at the same time, facts are facts. This game.
It is a whiff. You can't. It's not like a super flashy hero, especially with this kind of a lineup. His kind of job is just to click Q and then click Slim and then press E, and maybe press R.
Yeah, he's had a couple of relocations the same day, including that last one initially, but obviously still in the end, Tiny. Too much damage, too much lockdown. Like making a comment, he wasn't doing a damn thing. Well, I mean, he was just CC that whole time. That's why he's like a puppet of the other team. Speaking of Kai, you mentioned with Shadow Fiend. I mean, Tiny is dealing with that just as much, if not more. And we talked about BKB, but he's still trying to finish that AC as he wants to get that final Hyperstone before getting, and then the buyback on top of that. So even if he manages to get a BKB here, it's going to be still quite a ways away.
Yeah, and I think we talked about the SF being very good versus the Timbersaw in lane, but that matchup shifts back the other way once this Timbersaw gets to the point where he starts getting some of these tanks. Yeah, he has the Shivas now. He has the Ags. He has a lot of HP, a lot of armor, and now going for the Octarine next as well. The SF is basically 6-slot at this point. He doesn't really want to swap any of these items out. Can maybe like swap the Satanic for the Manta or something like that, but it's not going to increase his damage really that much dramatically. And you can see the Timbersaw, he just walked up the high ground. The SF was beating him before he had any reactive armor stacks as well, and it was just kind of tickling him. Didn't really have any problems tanking those right clicks, and he still has 2 item slots, even 3 to go. And the Tiny, not a hero that does very well versus these tanky heroes like the Timber is. EGM is mega dead. And detection.
TP trick? Is there like a TP trick? Oh, he doesn't have TP.
Yeah, his TP's not going on, so he is dead right.
Live! Glimmer Cape! Damn it, I'm gonna make you take a while.
But yeah, this Timbersaw is gonna start to become a huge problem. It's not gonna deal the most damage in fights, as they don't have actually, I take that back, they have so many disables. He's gonna be able to get a shotgun off, walks over the cogs, he's fine.
The pace for EPG, they also have to be, a lot of momentum, just feeling pretty good about the game state right now. And are they going to steal Roshan too? He takes out the Creepers, we're talking about the Helmet and Dominator doing a lot of work here. And they're going to drop it. I mean, they're going to be scattered right here, but they cannot react in time.
Yeah, they rocket it, they're kind of walking over, but it's just like you said, they're not going to be able to do anything. They're way too far away. Left is down bottom, flip pushing, trying to get these lanes out, and they're just going to have to give this Roche up. They're bending, going to have a second life, and get the Crystalist now as well. Timbersaw will be able to have that cheese, or Centaur, or Spirit, whoever they give it to, so they are in a very prominent position right now. At Alliance, all they can really do is split push out these lanes, look for a potential pick-off with the relocate, a smoke play, finding some hero alone, but I don't know if EPG is going to give them that opportunity, as they always have the Centaur ult to back someone up. And they really, they have the cogs for lockdown, they have the avalanche, but those are not hard stuns. And they're just going to be able to just run away with the Stampede, the Ag, so I worry for Alliance.
Now, Tiny, he does the AC finish, he actually has another 2,000 gold saved up, so he is actually doing a lot more efficient farming here in these last couple of minutes, and thus that BKB is actually just around the corner. Now, again, it's not going to be the end-all, but the hook dump initiation. Here comes that straight bottom attack. The Glimmer Cape, though. It will save initially. He says, get off me.
Uh-oh, he's dead.
But, yeah, the Wisp, the end is near.
Is he going to try the TP thing? Let's go. Now.
Come back!
Oh, that was close. That was pretty close. That was a fraction of a second.
For those that don't know, you can TP back as you basically have to time it so perfectly, though, as you get relocated back in. So, EGM tempting right there.
Radiant's top tower
It was pretty close. It was a worthy effort, but he doesn't have buyback and he's not for 40 seconds. They're marching towards the high ground. There are other lanes are in, so there's no potential to split push from Alliance. You can sometimes see from a Tiny Wisp they can port to your base and maybe backdoor, but with the Wisp dead and Tiny not really in shape to do it on his own, the lane's all the way in, they're going to have to defend their high ground. He's up a creep with his Death Pact and start plinking away.
That Death Slider, of course, going to help that much more. Keep this Sinister Slopper. Just dump him out here. Double chakra metal. If he wants to go with the
He missed so many times on Clinks. That was insane.
A little unlucky there.
If he hit one more time, they would have gotten the tier 3. They potentially could have gotten the shrines. He's actually out of mana on Swift Ending. Alliance is going to look to punish this.
That hookshot almost hit Clinks, actually. That would have been huge. To even take him out and get the Aegis, then who knows what would have happened. But, bottom lane, that's why we're going to have to fight down here as EGM. Going to help keep Loda alive again, the relocate.
Yeah, that was very close. The tether was about to wear out. But able to get him out, so EPG, at the very least, they're going to get this bottom lane in, but Limp, all the meanwhile, immediately books it up the top, shoving this lane in very far. And that's the game Alliance has to play right now. They need to play the split push, the traditional Alliance style, the Wrath, and just try and use this Tiny Wisp to trade buildings, potentially keep EPG from playing, getting back. And they have pretty mobile heroes on Alliance. Shadow Fiend is very, very fast with the Butterfly. They have the Wisp, obviously, that can play around with the Force. Tiny has Blink Dagger, so it's not a free game at all for EPG. It's not a game where they can just walk down a lane for free without any risk of being split pushed. They need to be very methodical about getting these lanes out, not feeding away pickoffs, and then trying to go for a push after that. They didn't even lose the T3 on Alliance as well, so no Shrine's going to be threatened out of the
Jump off here, but that's Timbersaw. You were not killing him, guys.
Centaur ult to balance spell, right guys?
Ags, Centaur ultimate. Pretty damn strong. People regard that as one of the stronger Ags in the game, especially. Let alone the hero himself. Yeah, Centaur really just appeared. Like, I know, I guess 7.0, there was maybe some changes too that helped with that, but he's just such a core now. For not really being the most popular hero for a while there.
Yeah, I think people just realize how insanely strong this Aghanim is. You know, it's a hero that is quite strong in lane. You can do these dual lanes a lot of times. He comes back quite well, has a farming mechanism, which not a lot of offlaners have. Has a very nice stun, a lot of burst damage, and then also has one of the best Aghanims in the game. Has a a global Ursa ult for some reason.
That's how you put. You don't sound better.
It's like
for some reason.
It's fair, you know.
Fair game. Oh yeah, Shadow P, by the way, he ends up going Satanic, and this goes back to that 50% lifesteal talent that we mentioned that he had. He does go Satanic still as well. Is that a concern for you, or does it still actually?
Oh, he missed BKB.
Oh no,
it's unfortunate.
What does that put it at now? That's
7-6. Yeah. Yeah, I think. I mean, I think you have to buy Satanic on this hero, especially after the Clink's getting the MKB. The Butterfly is basically useless. He actually sold the Butterfly, so sold the Butterfly for the Satanic. So is Hurricane Pike and Manta. It's kind of a low damage build. Having Hurricane Pike and Manta is typically known as a no-no. I think it was okay this game because they were going for that, that second Aegis push where they just walk up the high ground, they end with the Butterfly with the BKB Aegis. But whenever you commit for that, and then now you have this Manta and Hurricane Pike, you start to run pretty low on damage. Has the Satanic, so it's definitely very tanky. But him being tanky isn't really the issue. It's about being able to kill EPG before they just storm the supports and bring them down. I don't know if he's in shape to do that. I actually have a DD on Clinks. His bottom tower is melted.
And go to your point right there. We've been seeing this in this game. Like, you would figure that Alliance, I'm sure they have picked up on this, but they've just been hiding it. They don't care how tanky he is. They don't even go for him in the fight. They just kill this point now. So that's why I'm even more curious on the decision here by the go to full Satanic. Now they're going to try to hold you at the base. You mentioned the double damage, though, on Clinks to make it very difficult to really commit. And you also have the Chambers on sitting on 21 on some charges. Let's go to the background. They do catch Clinks, but the Cogs will push him out. That's the himself right there. Stampede finally activated by the Centaur. He's out about half life, but now switching into the auto attack top, kills Clockwork. Shadow-Fiend going right for him in the background. Critical rate's not enough to land, though. Again, he is taking himself, though, with Shadow-Fiend, so ends up only still being the kill on Clockwork, but
oh, those chakras.
Wow, there he is. And they end up killing Wiz. And now Shadow-Fiend's caught. How tanky is he? He popped the Satanic. It's still not enough to stay alive. He has a buyback, though. Will he use it right here? Maybe. There we go. He finally uses it. Meanwhile, Timbersaw, he's still up in the front lines. Tiny from a distance. He's going to go down. Triple kill. Coming out for Swift Ending. The buybacks are real. This is an it for the Horde of Alliance. They are potentially hold. Or so EPG will choose to fall back, satisfied with two big buybacks being used.
EPG is playing so well. The way the early game looked, it looked like they were kind of just going to get run over, but we thought their draft had potential as the game went later, and it definitely does. Alliance is in a super rough spot using buybacks for both Blimp and Loda. If Blimp goes down, then there's almost no way they can defend their base, and now the Timbersaw having an Octarine core as well. You can see he just walked up to the high ground, didn't even care. The Shadow-Fiend hit them the whole time, and there's just nothing they can do. They don't have a way to kill him. Tiny needs like 3 more items before they have to potentially kill his Timbersaw. He's just unkillable, so they have to kite them after bringing in the Clinks and reduce their damage. They do some kiting of their own Alliance, but Clinks almost went down in the last fight, had very low HP. Limp forced in and tried to bring him down, but just barely lived. And then they go back in with the Chakrams. Centaur goes in and the Clinks shoots away from far away. Make sure he doesn't go down. EP just continue to play these fights very well, and Alliance has they have to play extremely well in these fights, almost perfectly to win them. And now with a refresher on Centaur, I don't even know if perfect is good enough.
See, that's what I was just about to say, that same statement right there, because it's like, Alliance, what can they do? It feels like they've hit that peak, right? We talked about it with the scaling of the items in general, and the heroes only for that matter, especially with Shadow-Fiend, especially going this style of build, where he's not necessarily the biggest damage. He was working on Moon Shards, but now that's been delayed because of the buyback. But even with Moon Shards, is he really dealing enough damage? Last fight, no one really got that low other than initially maybe the Clinks. and that was only because they were first initially trying to siege right there. So the double center of those you're talking about with the refresher picked up, even if Alliance plays this quote-unquote perfect play, it still feels like it may just not be enough. Now, EPG mix in a little bit of throw, then perhaps there is an opening, but they're going to need that. I mean, EPG needs to get a little too comfortable and maybe dive the tier 4 towers and ultimately set up some silly plays that get them.
Oh, they have a DD on limp. That's something.
Yeah, that's definitely going to excel that damage.
Yeah, that's what they needed. That's a game-winning, that's a game-turning room potentially. If they can look for some fight with the DD, they were smoked up. I think they were looking to take the Roshan. I don't know if EPG actually sees the DD on SF, so maybe they can take a fight at the base. They're trying to split push. Tiny storms towards the base, and they can definitely rat. We've talked about this is something that they have the capability to do. Wisp Tiny obviously killed buildings in a record time. As EPG walks toward the base, they haven't shown yet Alliance. They don't know they're ratting.
There we go. It's going to show right now. Goes to the melee racks.
It's dead. Oh, almost.
Low port back in. Now can he relocate? Try to kill the Wisp first. Yep, they're going to kill the Wisp,
Tiny.
and now Tiny, he is dead. And he pops a BKB, but that's just going to delay the inevitable right here. Auto attacks later from Swift Ending. He goes down. A godlike streak for the Cligs. And no buyback on Tiny to top it all off. They didn't even get them either.
Yeah, that was super fast reaction time from EPG. They ported so many heroes in immediately, got right on top of the Wisp. Maybe a little bit greedy from EGM, thought they weren't porting in. I think their plan was to try and cancel TPs with the clockwork, but they weren't actually able to cancel any TPs, so... What the heck, did Timber die? Oh, he denied himself, okay. So maybe they went on the Timber, cancel his TP, and tried to bring him down, but he does end up denying himself, so not really the biggest of deals. And with those two heroes going down, no buybacks, EPG is in a super dominant position.
And he has an F-blade he's working on his Timber, so that's when you know luxury's good. Life is good, because finds such a luxury item as the F-blade for the Timber saw. But yeah, dead for another 45 seconds. And they were already low on damage, not to keep reiterating the negative here, but now with him being dead, and good luck for that damage. Timber still needs some extra cover now, especially without the Tiny now. He's dropped about a third of his life or so. However, Geek comes out and easy racks killed middle. Now they go right for the bottom lane. Really just feels like nothing Alliance can do. You have a lift over here. He's just trying to kite the, not kite, but finish the creep wave, really. He's just worried about saving the tier 4 tower. We're not necessarily committing towards any kind of fight, but yeah, if you're EPG, you're going right for the mega creep. And he kind of let the creep there. And they're going to finish creep. We got to try something in the back with those Shadow Fiend jump too as a clock.
That's Megas.
Distraction, the mega creeps have been spawned. And EPG has been a fight. Fight, they've been run. A double ultimate comes out from Centaur. Meanwhile, the second stampede, the freezing field is going to be stopped though, so a little bit of distraction there from the Crystal Maiden. We'll keep it slowed out, but Gatorback's top level does.
Yeah, they roly-poly on out. LeBron actually has a completed AC. I just realized that. Holy cow.
Okay, he gets caught though, but look at the shot, and he's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, HOD force-staff into an AC, so those buildings just died so fast. The deaths of the AC and the swings just pumping out about 400 a pop, so... Alliance is going to get the Roshan and potentially try for some death blow push towards the throne. I don't know. I think the lineup can defend Mega Creeps for sure. The Shadow Fiend doesn't really care about the creeps beating on him. He has a lot of life steal. Yeah.
It's delaying until what?
It is, it's very, very difficult for Alliance. They always have the potential, whenever you have a tiny wisp, you can never count a team out. As the buildings, you know, EPG makes one misstep, they overextend a little bit, buybacks are forced out, and then you're in this position where your racks can just get pummeled out of nowhere. So, Alliance, I think they're going to have to play around that. That's really what they need to do. They want to just, you know, wait for EPG to make a mistake. They could just sit around the throne, defend for as long as possible, and it's not easy to walk all the way up to the tier 4s. Even when you're as tanky as this Timbersaw is, you start getting hit on by the tier 4s, the damage slowly adds up, and then suddenly there's a clockwork on top of you, you're getting hit by the SF, the tiny combos you, and things can start to get a little spooky.
Some 25, that's not too much of that yet. Shadow Fiend has 150 attack range predicted there. Tiny's actually only 22, so it'll be a while for him. Nobody else on this side is 20. Timbersaw with 20 strength. You have Blink with a 70 strength attack speed. So what is it initially?
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Okay, it's 74 on top. So what's what with 130?
Top barracks are falling.
Timbersaw's like it's on a pile. Chakra,
may go down. No force staff on my board. He does have buyback though, so not the biggest deal in the world, but they're definitely going to want to force that out.
Right there for that kill. Tiny goes in. Really lucky has a chance right here. The Mystic Flare on top of them, and the Glitter Cape popped it. He'll run away. He's going to pushed every which way. But now
those right
Blink,
clicks.
and yeah, Lotus like crap. He's gonna get caught up with those up. Big heals up though, so he'll survive it. Turn up his head the bait is real.
Good ending may go down as well.
Yeah, you want to be careful himself. He pops his EKP though, the 4-step forward.
Dust caught him.
Gonna be fine. Now Dust is on him. No, he's.
Yeah, they lost the gem. Is it on the centaur?
He's still just having a good time up here. Now look at the line space in the meantime, so they're going to kill Timbersol. They're going to get LeBron Dota, actually. Not too bad, but yeah, see the tier 4s. Are going to stay alive, maybe, but they took a bit of damage here.
Middle tower is
maybe
under
not.
attack.
Oh, very close. It's healable damage.
Oh my
It's not unhealable. Grand would be furious. This tower would be dead if it was unhealable.
Wow, it actually blew.
Wow.
Right?
Leaves the base, they can't really win, but if they stay in the base, they can't really lose either. And it's a matter of patience, it's a matter of small, misplays in these team fights and who can, it's very, very elegant movements can mean a huge difference.
Alright, so Shadow Fiend agrees that he was lacking damage. He
Rapier?
just bought a Divine Rapier.
Nice!
So, he will have that one himself.
This Hurricane Pike, so actually keeps the Mance, interesting. I guess he wants the movement speed. The movement speed is pretty nice. Along with the drums, he's moving at 418. I think that actually makes a pretty big difference. I think typically you'd want the Hurricane Pike, but I think the movement speed makes a bigger difference than the 4-staff this game and the extra attack range. And he does have the 25 talent, so he doesn't miss the attack range too much.
Well, that Divine Rapier, though, that's obviously an item that we're going to be seeing it. This is definitely a game that calls for it. I mean, Alliance, they are a team that's also known for being a very patient one, and gonna have to do that here. So I know it sounds like I'm being a little bit bitter sometimes. I understand though that Alliance, what else can they do? It's either just go for that ultimate death ball or play this very, very patient game. We saw in that previous fight as you're mentioning that they do have a little bit of hope, and eventually maybe get that lucky 1 or 2 picks without a buyback on the other side. And thanks to question from that Rat Dota, as you suggested, of killing the racks and gonna make it even with Mega side. But right now, EPG moving on in bottom lane. They do not want to give them a comfortable chance just to sit back here. Double ulti's ready to go for center.
Yeah, no buyback on Clockwork. Everybody, no Tiny buyback, no Clockwork buyback, no Skywrath buyback. So
And he does it 700 gold. So he actually has a boom start.
yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be able to build up 700 gold before it starts up here. LeBron's actually rolling into the trees. They don't know he's here. I don't think. He has a Hex. Holy crap, he's so far in.
He's gonna go in right here. There's that Hex getting you run away the Clockwork. Quick go, the play new comes out and down goes Clockwork. 7-second cooldown. No buyback for him to be had. Meanwhile, the second sector ultimate of the Stampede's ready to go. Swift ending. Going at it with this BKB up Lip, but Lip also falls back. See Tiny clearing up and free waves in the meantime. Knowing that that's so for you. If they're playing 2 different games, they're playing PvE with the creeps, they're also playing PvP versus the heroes, making it extra difficult. Now the BKB popped by Tiny. He'll jump in, he misses the avalanche though, and now Mitz hooks up. That's what's going to whip.
The Hex.
Shadow Fiend, there's that Hex. You got him, he's out about half life early. He gets ported back though by the. With Tiny not so lucky, he gets cut down. The tier 4's gonna fall, and that could be the beginning of the end for EPG. Are they actually going to defeat Alliance here? It looks like it. Another 4 down, not gonna be enough. Down goes Shadow Fiend. He has a buyback, but it's too little too late.
GG.
GG, well played. EPG defeats Alliance.
They played so well.
They are both 4 and 2 now. The record, I did not think I'd be saying that.
Yeah, they played